What's up, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this one I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tsla, and the overall market. I want to talk about some manipulation that's going on in the markets as we saw some bearish technicals yesterday, only for the bulls to step in, cause the market to gap up and try to cause a rally. So I'm going to break down why we're seeing this rally like this, what the manipulation is suggesting, what you should be watching for as time progresses. But just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total. Not to mention 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. The offer ends in 11 days. Anyways, for the market, I just wanted to say that SPY basically pumped really nicely yesterday. This was after we got the 50 basis point cut from the Fed. Then we dumped after Jerome Powell's speech, and they made technicals look bearish. SPY, if you guys look at the daily chart, we looked kind of weak, but now we're gapping up during the pre-market. So this was manipulation on SPY. There's manipulation on the QQQ. We looked weak here after Jerome Powell's speech. It looked like Jerome Powell was about to cause the market to tip these EMAs. Instead, they gave us the setup only to push the market back up overnight. So it's manipulation. Same thing with Tsla. We had this rejection that formed. It looked like it was about to dip down to the EMAs as well, only to buy it back up overnight and try to push it to this resistance. So I'm just trying to tell you guys the market is full of manipulation. This happens especially sometimes after FOMC. They wanted everyone to suspect the market would dip lower, only to just buy it up overnight and push it much higher. So the question is, where are we going to go from here? I'll be talking about this in just a couple of minutes. Just know that for today, it's Thursday, September 19th, 2024. 1 hour before the market's about to open, we just had some data. So we had initial jobless claims below expectations, showing some strength in the labor market. Continuing jobless claims was also a little bit low. So that's once again kind of like so-so data. Everything else was decent. Employment, the Philly Fed employment was decent. Everything else was so-so. And then I just want to note that we have a couple of bill auctions at 11:30 a.m. and everything else is quite minor. For news about the markets, we had this news by Jerome Powell. The Fed was cutting by 50 basis points. And he mentioned that the Fed does have more plans to cut in the future, at least based off the summary of economic projections, but they're going to take it meeting by meeting. Jerome Powell also said that the economy is fine. He's kind of just pushing the soft landing narrative, even though I don't believe him. The market, of all things, is now getting this delayed rally. So it's just manipulation. They didn't do the initial rally during FOMC like they oftentimes do. They gave us this big rejection only to pump things up overnight. So what do I see from this point? What's going on now? Here are some levels on SPY. So I just want to remind everyone that the market is just very manipulated. There's a lot of trickery that tends to go on, and oftentimes leads to lots of interesting price action. We're going to pull up the 4-hour time frame just to look at this real quick, and I'm going to show you some important levels. So SPY is trying to push higher. We're going to see if we could try to hold above the 570 area. If we break through this resistance right over here, we could be going all the way to 572 to 572.5 as our targets. If that breaks, we could be going all the way up to about 573 and 574. Each of those will be resistances since this is the new all-time high on SPY, right? If we reject and we end up dipping back down, look at 568 as our key support. If that fails us, I think we dip down to 566, and then we fill the gap down to the 565 area. So if we lose 568, we are going to turn more bearish. And if we continue to break out where we are, we remain more bullish for 572 and 573 as our targets. Right now, SPY looks bullish. It was a complete flip, manipulation at its finest, and we look like we want to go higher. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. But that's what the chart is suggesting. For ES, I do want to mention that ES has tough resistance at the 5770 area. If that breaks, we're looking for 5800. If this rejects, we're going back down to 5750. If 5750 fails us, we're dipping back down to 5740. So I'll be watching to see which way we end up going. We are holding up nice if there is tough resistance at 5780 around that area. So we'll see how well we hold up. So be very, very patient nonetheless. So we'll see if we get this rejection. We could be retesting 5750, and we'll see if we bounce or not, but be very, very patient nonetheless. For Nvda is looking like it's trying to rebound right now. This could be a flag that formed on Nvda, but we need to break past 118. If we break 118, we're looking for the 120s, also the gap fill at 125. If we end up rejecting, we end up losing support right over here at 116. We're going to come down to fill the gap at 114. This looks a little bit more bullish. It looks like it wants to push up to 118 or higher if the flag continues to hold up. So as long as we hold above 116, we remain bullish. If we lose 116, we're looking for 114 as our target. This is looking more bullish for 118 and 120. For Bitcoin, we look bullish. Bitcoin is breaking out after the Fed has cut. So we have this nice inverse head and shoulders like structure. Bitcoin could continue to push closer to 65,000. It still looks bullish. It's going to help Coinbase. For Tesla, we're trying to push up higher. But the issue with Tesla is the first thing is there was manipulation, right? They were trying to make it look bearish overnight, but now they're gapping it up. So if we break 235 on Tesla, I think we easily push up to 240, then eventually 245. It depends if we could break 235 or not, of course. So I'll be watching that very carefully. And if we reject, we're looking for basically 232 as our support. If that fails us, this will be dipping all the way down towards 229. So if 232 fails, we're going down to 229. If 235 breaks, we remain more bullish. We're looking for basically 238, 240 as potential targets, and eventually 245 is coming. So watch the levels on Tesla. We are pushing to resistance, but there's no sign of us breaking through this. Every time we hit 235, we did reject. So we're going to be watching to see if Tesla could break it this time or not. Watch 235, we'll see if Tesla breaks or not. If it does break, we remain bullish, so give it some time. 20,000 is a tough resistance on NQ. If we break that, we're going to 20,200. If we reject, we're dipping back down to 19,800. It is looking bullish. It has potential to go higher, but watch to see if we could break 20,000 for confirmation. The QQQ looks more bullish. I think it could be trying to squeeze for 485. So it looks like it could try to go a little bit higher to try to fill this imbalance in the 45 area. If we were to lose 480, we're looking for 478 as support. If that fails us, we dip back down to fill this gap to 475. So lose 478, we turn bearish. As long as we hold above 480, we remain more bullish, and we have a target of about 485 as we remain bullish. For Aapl, we look more bullish as well. We have 225 as our resistance. I mentioned yesterday if we broke past 224, we turn bullish. And if we ended up losing support and getting a rejection, we would turn bearish. We had this trend line as resistance. If we had rejected here, we would turn down. And it was looking like we were starting to reject yesterday as Aapl started to dip. But instead, we broke through this. So now we're above 224. As long as we hold above that, we're looking for targets such as 226. If we get above that, I think we easily go up to about 228. If we lose 224, we're looking for a dip down to fill the gap to 222. Aapl looks bullish, so it's going to try to help the market go higher. So as of right now, it favors bulls. For the IWM, we have 225 as resistance. If that breaks, we're looking for 226.5, followed by even higher levels like 228. If we were to reject, we could be dipping back down towards 222. If that fails us, we're coming down to fill the gap at 221. So overall, we do look more bullish. Amazon's looking a little bit more bullish as well. We're looking for basically 191 as a potential target. If that breaks, we're looking for 193. And if we lose support right here at 188, we're looking for the gap fill down to about 187. So watch and see if 188 holds. If we hold that, we remain bullish. If we lose that, we turn bearish. This has potential to push it for 191, so give it some time. Meta has resistance at 551. If we reject there, we're coming back down towards 547, followed by 544. And then we have that gap to fill if 547 fails us. So I think if we lose 547, 545, we dip down to fill the gap. If we continue to break out, we're looking for 555 as resistance, followed by 560. We're in the middle right now. We have some tough resistance, so we'll give it some time. For Microsoft, we look more bullish. We'll see if we can break past 440 or not. I was thinking that we would come down to kind of like test this breakout area, then try to bounce, but we didn't do that. We actually bounced off our 20 EMAs. We're looking at 440's resistance. If that breaks, we go to the highest from yesterday. And if we end up losing 438, we dip back down. I think as of right now, it looks like it wants to push for 440. For Google, we're looking a little bit more bullish. We got a nice breakout, but we're testing tough resistance at our 165 area, the 200 EMA. If that breaks, we're going up to 166 to 168. And if that rejects, we're going back down to 165. So we'll see which way it goes. But as of right now, it looks very bullish. It looks like it wants to break this resistance. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. The market looks like it wants to go a little bit higher. This was just pure manipulation overnight. So watch your levels very carefully, and we'll see if SPY and the QQQ hold up. We're approaching some tough resistance, so I think we could still go a little higher from here, but watch and see if the levels hold. If they don't hold, we dip back down to fill some of our gaps. If not, if they do hold and we keep pushing, then there is more upside potential. Anyways, have a great day, guys. I'll see you guys soon in the next one, and peace out.